this panel. As our gracious host said, artificial intelligence is such a vast topic. To understand how it's being used effectively, what are the use cases, what are the problems being faced, I think we're very lucky today to have a very esteemed group to discuss about how this is being implemented in the government sector, not only in individual sectors, but how artificial intelligence, which is a neural network connecting everything online that's digital, and finding useful applications for it to make the customer experience better, to save costs. These are the people who are implementing it for wide populations. So let's get right to the topic. And maybe we'll start with Salwa in the healthcare sector. Can you please tell us about what are the use cases of artificial intelligence in your field? How is it saving maybe with internal costs, improving customer experiences, or uniting different aspects of your work?
Sure. Well, we started implementing actually AI diagnosis back in the COVID pandemic. So we have implemented the TB solution and the COVID respiratory. When the infection is in the respiratory section, the X-rays can detect that. So this was the first AI implementation that we have done. And for the future, actually, we are now collecting the data from various national level projects that we have. We have Riayati, which is a national unified medical record, where we are integrating with all healthcare facilities that we have within the country, private, public, and federal, as well as we have Tatmin platform, which is the track and trace of medication. Along with that, we have the public health solution. So we have now a solid foundation of data. We didn't want to go directly and go with the trend, as they say, and implement AI solution, which might not serve us back then. But now, since we have this solid foundation, we have released an RFI related to AI analytics. So we are going to use, inshallah, AI analytics to forecast and look at the future opportunities that we have in the healthcare field.
Amazing, and that's one aspect of AI, which is very interesting, the aspect of foresight.
Yes.
And I mean, how do you see, what do you expect, like what are you looking into at the moment in this area?
See, for the healthcare side of it, we want to look at how many facilities, for example, healthcare facilities we need in area A or area B, based on the treatment that are given to the patients and based on the disease level. For example, if we have some specific disease occurred and the level is very high. For example, the cardiovascular, I think, is one of the most diseases that people are affected by here in the UAE. So for that, we want to locate where these people are or where these patients are, and based on that, we can build new facilities, for example. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the aspects that we are looking at.
Interesting. It's even be able to detect like access to medical care for populations that need it with specific illnesses.
Yes.
Fascinating. And we'll move on to Suleiman in the area of whether in transport and also how are you using artificial intelligence to find solutions, save costs, all the above?
Actually, the use of AI started since years, embedded in our digital transformation strategy in government and different. There is a huge number of great use cases, especially let me focus on mobility to predict the road congestion, to predictive maintenance also. That one of the great use cases implemented in Dubai, that the digital twinning of Dubai metro track for predictive maintenance by using 11 years of historical data. Also, we have many use cases related to use of our huge data to provide proactive services to our customer, to enhance quality of services provided to public, and to enhance internal organizational processes and more efficiency and our cost saving and our time, and let our employee focus on what is matter more instead of doing daily tasks by automated processes using AI technologies and automated bots.
Are you able to measure, when you talk about internal costs and what you're able to save, do you have a sense of measure of what you've been able to save?
Yes, all of these use cases actually implemented based on international best practices, our benchmark that we did, and on study or cost analysis that we use to analyze our projects and our implementation. Also, for our customers, we measure that based on customer satisfaction surveys that we do on an interval basis.
And Vineesha, I'll move on to you with the area of like what problems is AI solving? Have there been things that you've been facing that there wasn't a solution for it before, and then AI came up as a solution, or was it the other way around, where the technology came, and then you found use cases for it to solve problems you didn't know it could solve?
Yeah, so what I can recall is there were a lot of use cases we were solving, and we were utilizing robotic process automation, for example, in terms of making the process faster, and the weaknesses that you see in regular ERPs. And sometimes RPA sort of helps you with that. But the challenge that we were facing was always this unstructured data that had to be dealt with when it comes to RPA. And now we see like all the top providers of RPA solution have started integrating it with AI. Whether it's Automation Anywhere or UiPath, or I don't want to name any specific vendors, but all of them have expanded capabilities to AI. So now we are looking at not just picking like one use case and doing an AI. This is what I saw a couple of years back, right? We were just looking for something like a shiny toy syndrome, like let's do something in AI. Pick something up, do one use case, and that use case is sitting sort of independently. But now what we are seeing is more of like hyper automation. You're actually combining different technologies. You're combining AI, you're combining RPA, you're combining text analytics. So one of the use cases that I can talk about, especially Salwa and Suleiman were also talking about how we are using AI to improve those services for the public. So what we are doing is looking at, suppose somebody is reaching out to the government of UAE, and there could be like sort of emotion analytics or text analytics, and based on that, you see, okay, I should assign this particular ticket to someone else within the team, and after that there's an automated action using RPA, and then you have your integration to your ERP. So the interesting one is when you start using all these technologies together and you are having this good, faster overall process that comes out of it. Individually, alone, I feel just trying to implement AI on one particular part, that's something that we should be very wary of and not try to do.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think it speaks to the evolution of AI, where it's become more than just a technology that you use as a tool, it's a system. And you can't not use that system. And if anything, it's about integrating all aspects of your work into that system. And you also brought up a very interesting point about measuring emotion with sentiment analysis. That's another aspect of being able to measure customer experiences, whether they're satisfied, dissatisfied, or neutral, as you've probably seen around with a lot of different surveys. Yeah, please.
Actually, Vineesha, remind you of one of the great use cases that we have implemented in our customer happiness centers, where we use AI cameras to measure customer happiness by face recognition. And that's helped us a lot to improve our customer satisfaction and to educate our customer-facing staff by using this technology.
Exactly, and it's making technology more human and being able to speak to customers more easily that way. And I think I'd like to extend the same question about use cases to Dr. Salim, because he's particularly connecting so many different sectors of government in one, and to function with information, with populations. So can you please talk to us as well about how are you able to do this using AI? And as we said, from measuring customer experience to internal costs, how are you using it today?
First of all, assalamu alaikum. I am glad to be in front of you and within these esteemed speakers here and the panelists. Really, what I'm talking about, this fancy word is artificial intelligence. Talking about artificial intelligence now, this word, first we have to distinguish, and most of the people have to distinguish between the artificial intelligence and the automation itself. They are even the company, they are mixing and confusing between the automation, simple automation, and the artificial intelligence. They are using now this word to bring the attention of the people that we are using artificial intelligence, because most of them, they don't know what's the nature of this artificial intelligence. From my side, when I'm talking about, or if I want to reflect or answering your questions, not like other panelists, they are talking about or focusing on one sectors, because I came from Ministry of Transport, Communication and Information Technologies. There is in belief of the importance of this, the latest technologies and the artificial intelligence. We have formed one separate an independent unit. It's called Center for Space, Artificial Intelligence and Advanced Technologies. Last year, we have launched our strategy, National Strategy for Artificial Intelligence and Advanced Technology. The strategy is serving all the sectors in the countries. We have two types of the sectors, is economical diversification sectors and the essential services sectors. Some of them, like for example, health sectors, education sectors, is essential services. Transportation and logistics is some of, it's called that economical diversification sectors. So in helping, of course, we believe that the artificial intelligence can help save the time, saving the effort, and even increase the efficiency of the person first, and of course for the organization, the entity, and the whole ecosystem at the end. So when we are coming for separate sectors, we have implemented different projects, and we have in the queue lots of initiatives in the queue. But there is one thing also, we have heard globally there are some successful stories, and not necessarily what have been implemented in one area of the world, it can be successful in this area, because we have different climate, we have different culture, we have different usage of or other usage of these technologies. This is what we are going. So about the strategy that we are focusing on 4 pillars. The pillars AI for this is economical sectors, and AI for the essential sectors. Also, AI for the capacity building and SMEs development. We know this is the small companies in the future, they are going to drive the whole initiatives in the countries. So we have to believe in order tomorrow it will be a global companies also. And also from this stage, I am inviting all who has any solutions for any issue that I know most of the issues in the world or among the entities, maybe I can say it's a common, but also it depends on the specification and also on the requirements of that sector.
You know, that's a very good point, because and first of all, to address the new problems, with any new technology comes new problems. We knew that with social media, where there were psychological health issues with youth using it, and we didn't realize the impact of such technologies. And of course, AI is much more massive, and with it, you need to institute new departments to be able to address these issues. You need to address the future strategies and also the problems that you don't know that you're going to face yet. So Salwa, I'll bring that to you, especially in the health sector, where they always say, with finance and with health, those are the most secure industries where you have to be very protective about information. So can you talk a bit about the issues that you're facing with AI? Have new problems come up while trying to find solutions using AI, and how do you address them?
See, as you mentioned, healthcare sector is, I believe, the most difficult sector to suggest new technologies and new innovation. Because whenever we go and we try to suggest something, patient confidentiality in a very bold statement comes to us. Mm-hmm. But what about our patients? Their information is very confidential. With confidentiality, I think UAE government has done a very great job on having the cybersecurity policy applied. So whatever solution we want to implement, it needs to go and get approval from the cybersecurity team in Dubai so that it can be implemented. Previously, there was the issue with the cloud. The cloud needs to be local cloud. And that issue is resolved now. So I think now we are in a good shape to start implementing such technologies. And these technologies need to be implemented. The other issue is shortage of staff. And we don't have experienced staff to come with us and join us on this journey of transferring the healthcare into manual process, to electronic, to smart, and now to digitized process. So these 2 issues are the main issues that we are currently facing.
That makes sense, and I think it's the constant battle about, do you use the technology or do you wait for the regulation to come with it, and you have to take that appropriate risk, right? And
I want to add one thing. People go with the trend. Okay, we have now the generative AI, the ChatGPT. It's all over. And when people hear about that and they say, come on, let's go and implement it, it doesn't work that way. Okay, if you implement it, you need to have accurate data in place. Do you have that? So feasibility study needs to be done. Most of the projects are done maybe with no feasibility study even. So they go and they see whatever the market has and they want to implement that. It shouldn't go in that way. You need to do and you need to check your organization and your customer requirements. Do they require to have any AI solution? If they does, it's good for you. You can cope with the organizations around you. However, if it doesn't, that doesn't mean if you don't have AI that you are behind. There are multiple other solutions that are coming in the way. We have the virtual clinics, for example, smart hospitals. All of these are part of AI, but people are not looking into that perspective that it is AI. AI, they say that AI is machine learning. I just say something and the process should go on its own. No, it's not, from my perspective.
Even defining what AI is, like it's just so integrated into our daily life. So to understand that, identify the issues, and as you said, like not to be afraid to go forward with it, but create the strategy to go with it in the proper way.
Exactly.
And Suleiman, I'll shift that to you because you're also in your work you've dealt with face detection, cameras with vehicles and stuff like that. Among the issues, in addition to everything, with the AI, there's also the ethical aspect of it.
Yes.
With identity. How do you address these types of things?
Actually, first let me thank Doctor about highlighting about technology fashion. I'm always saying, especially for public sector entities, should not follow technology as a fashion. Last year, metaverse, yalla, let's go and do metaverse. This year, ChatGPT, let's go and do. This is not the case, especially for public sector. We are serving all kind of societies. So today, what's the key goal of any public sector digital transformation strategy?
Exactly. How about yourself, Vineesha? I mean, what have you found in terms of...
The key goal of digital transformation strategy for public sector is enhancing quality of life.
Yep.
To make things easier, to deliver services in easy way, digital experience, and proactive way, not to make things more complicated. If, for example, a public sector like RTA today implemented their service through metaverse, from their millions of users, what's the percentage of people who are using metaverse in a right way? Nothing, 1 or 2%. So we are making things more complicated. Our goal is to make things easier and enhance the quality of life. So the use of technology should align with our strategy or our ultimate goal to achieve higher customer satisfaction and enhance quality of life. This is number one. Number two, about security. Any digital transformation strategy should be built around key pillars. First thing, leadership, vision, and straightforward goals to achieve. Then strategic planning, long-term goals, short-term goals. Then data, security, technology. By the way, technology comes at the end of the digital transformation strategy. The four items is more than important, more than technology. We should use technology to facilitate our goals. Regarding you highlighted the regulation part. Also, regulation part should work on parallel with the digital transformation. I have worked with one of the great initiatives in Dubai government called Dubai Paperless Strategy in the past 3 years. And His Highness Sheikh Hamdan Mohammad bin Rashid announced Dubai in 2020 the first fully paperless government worldwide. This Dubai paperless strategy built around 3 pillars: technology, culture of change, and regulations. So we have worked with the legal authority and Dubai government to change a lot of laws to allow paperless, like to allow digital signing, to allow digital payment in order to achieve this. So law, security, and strategic planning should move together for successful public transportation. Digital transformation for public sector.
I understand what you meant, and I think what you mentioned encapsulated the idea of the need for communication, whether between different internal sectors, between the customers, consumers, and that's how you identify what these problems actually are to be able to address them and find solutions for them.
Exactly.
And I extend that as well, to Vineesha as well, and to Dr. Salim afterwards, because this is something where I'm sure education comes into play. As Salwa had mentioned as well, getting the decision makers to be on board, finding the right people to be able to implement, the technology that you have. Can you mention a few of the issues that you're facing, whether on this aspect or others?
Yeah, I think what you were mentioning about the whole ethics element when it comes to AI is very critical and something to be thought about. Initially, we were seeing entities go with initiatives which are like, I want this use case to be implemented in AI. But now they are looking at also the whole policy and procedures aspect in terms of how to make sure that AI is governed properly. I have seen audit departments starting to audit the whole AI and RPA programs as well. There were some well-known entities globally which had to roll back their AI engines. For example, one of it was a machine learning model that was doing automatic CV selection and proposing CVs, and they were preferring men over women for a particular job. So these are the things that you learn a bit later, and then you sort of see that it's not working out, needs to be rolled back, because whatever biases we have as humans unfortunately gets translated into the machine, and that's where these elements become very important. What we are also seeing heavily in organizations is that people are going ahead with data democratization, which is like making sure every person in your organization is having access to data and is able to take decisions no matter what his role is, no matter what level the person is in. That is where the empowerment happens, and I think we should start from empowering people with that data first. AI is amazing, it's very good, but there's a lot of groundwork that needs to go around when it comes to data governance and managing your data properly. Now, even like ChatGPT, for example, Salwa was talking about it, I'm seeing people in organization very proudly say that, I was asked to make this slide, I just put the questions to ChatGPT, got the answers, put it out, and it's done, my work is done. But what's happening there is during that interaction, they're probably writing things which might be sensitive to their organization, that is not voluntary, but like that sort of awareness is important in people in terms of understanding this is data security. You need to make sure that even if you're taking, utilizing ChatGPT, be a bit discreet about what you're asking and not end up, talking or giving information which is very specific to your organization. So these are some of the security considerations, and we have a long way to go in that.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's vast, but you brought up some very good points that, especially with managing so much data, it's always the human side, I think, that's the where there's room for error, with technology. It reminds me of cybersecurity as well, where that's where always break-ins into cybersecurity systems or larger company systems takes place. It's when a person makes the wrong decision, volunteers, clicks on a wrong link, or that type of thing. So, Dr. Salim, you're dealing with a vast amount of data, and I'm sure it's not easy to manage that. How are you actually addressing all of this from, and also as Vineesha had said, even like bias that exists in data, incorrect information that reflects, the human side of it. How are you correcting this? How are you uniting all of this? And also, what issues do that bring, when you're doing that type of work?
Well, as my colleague has already mentioned, that implementing any technology project is not easy, especially we are like policy makers and regulators for the government entities in the countries. So when we're coming to each entity, they are saying it's not, we found that they are not in their top priorities that to implement our technologies. For example, the medical side, the medical field, they will say our main priority to enhance the medical things, not to embrace the technology there. But anyway, we have lots of initiatives in the countries now. They are trying to twist them and not agree to move and proceed with any project without artificial intelligence or the technologies. As my brother Suleiman that mentioned about the priority also for the change management of any technology, because artificial intelligence projects, it's also, we can consider it's a technical projects. So there are 5 aspects. Before even the technology came at the end.
Yes.
But first of all, that people, changing the people mindset, how to bring the people to the mature level, believing that the AI, really they can enhance their work and bring the efficient way. And after the people, the environment itself, the environment, how to change the environment, the whole environment. So to adopt the technologies. After that, when the culture of using technology, because people, they would like to lie with the traditional things. People always, they don't want to change to change their habits. They want to move the same. When something is came, the first thing that coming in their mind, oh, the technology is going to replace my position, it's going to replace my daily task. This is the third one. The fourth one, the processes itself. How it was the processes, how now it was, how the process. Even if bringing some examples to all these customers or to the entities, this is how it's going to enhance your work, and this is look to this practice, look to the other entities. Still, they are not believing to that. After that, it came the technology itself. When it came the technology has different things, either the infrastructure itself or the application, the front end or the back end, the back end for that one. But we are trying to always. Before we adopting any technology, especially the artificial intelligence that's related to artificial intelligence, we know it's a costly, first of all, and also changing the way, especially after all the people now, after generative AI, even if it came, how the challenges and how they are looking for this one. They are not looking that from any diversity, there is a grant for the people that they can take in these grants. They are not looking at that. They're looking at the end. No, they are going to replace our job. Because most of the forums, most of the people, they are saying more than 60 millions of the jobs, it will be eliminated and replaced by AI. They are thinking on that one. We are not talking about the challenges that they are facing and how we can overcome and tackle the challenges for this one. So implementing the AI project by starting by a POC, proof of concept. This is the project. How it's going? Please. This is like a trial version for you. This is a trial for 1 month till 6 months. See, is it really going to help you, or it's going to replace you?
After I just want to ask you, sorry to cut you off, but I mean, I just want to actually ask you about this. I'll also leave some time for some questions. But when addressing, you mentioned a very good point that, how do you, it sounds like risk management of, when implementing new AI. So when you're looking at future technologies, right, such as generative AI, language learning models, also you mentioned like that people also want more intuitive technologies integrated with their lives. They don't want to change their habits. So I mean, with immersive, technology tools, we have Apple, which just released its Ocular device, which it's going to create that immersion. So now you have such big technologies like this, coming into the field. What are you looking at the moment? What do you see as actually useful? What do you see, as like Salwa had said, with ChatGPT and also Vineesha as well, that maybe we have to wait on this, before really implementing it. And just since we don't have too much time left, just if you don't mind in like 2 sentences saying, what are the key things you're looking at and what are you watching out for? And we'll go down the line. Well,
this is a technology, as I said, it's a grant to us. So we can build on top of it. I can bring 2 examples here. One example that we know that when the generative AI is coming, especially the ChatGPT, the academia people, the first people who are hindering that to implement that one, they say they are to kill the innovation of the people, and the people, they are going to utilize this one for writing reports, for writing research. But taking back in 1980s, when the calculators come to the world, most of the mathematicians, teachers and instructors, what they said, they were asking and raising to ban the calculator from the university. Today, can we live without a calculator? We cannot live. The same for the GAI, generative AI, or the AI itself. It can be a platform for innovation, for the future innovation and innovation. And the second example, when the programming language come to the world, so the same thing they said that all the application is going to take to replace the jobs. No, it creates more jobs. Also, we can utilize the technology to create more extra jobs, even for the person who has already a job. So that's taking benefit of this one. It's a grant, really. It's a grant to the human, to the life.
It's not something to be feared, just welcomed and understood. And Vineesha, I mean, how about yourself? How do you address this fear? But what are the technologies that you're looking at? When we're talking, the ChatGPTs, the metaverse, things like that.
So we are definitely looking at metaverse, AI, and as I was telling, RP is heavily used. It's a very mature technology, and now there's AI elements to it as well. And again, extensively focusing on personalizing the journey for the public sector services in terms of like when a user is going to log in, he needs to feel that he's being taken care of, like literally pampering the users and making the quality of life incredible. Like Suleiman was saying, that's the ultimate objective. And again, I've seen entities go with things like chatbot for complaint management, which is absolutely not the right idea, because some places you really need human touch. And maybe it's better to have a basic e-service form than to have a back and forth on an AI sort of a solution. It might not be needed. So always look at the case. If AI is not needed, just don't go for it. And if you really want to do R&D, very good. If there's an actual use case, like maybe scheduling your resources in terms of their time allocation or your preventive maintenance in many entities, there I see like huge potential. Yeah. But unnecessarily, we should be very wary to not use AI unless it's required.
I like that a lot. Just because the technology looks cool, it looks like it can do fascinating things, it doesn't mean it's the right time to use it or right away. Yeah, and exactly, to not be scared of it, but approach with caution. And Suleiman, how about yourself?
Quickly. Actually, we are discovering now a lot of use cases related to metaverse, related to digital twinning, generative AI, a lot of things going on. And who's sitting in Dubai, you will see amazing things, inshallah, in the coming few months.
Amazing. Thank you. And yourself, Salwa?
Well, from my side, I think we always put our patient first from healthcare perspective. So we always should focus on patient-centered care. And for us, what I'm forecasting in the future would have the predictive analysis of the disease itself. So for example, the AI solution will go and look at the demographic data of the diagnosis, orders, whatever are there in the patient medical file, and it will predict predict the diagnosis that this patient might have, and based on that, we can take predictive measurements or protective measurements. And as for the AI and its implementation, I'll repeat myself, just don't go with the trend. Look what is best for your organization and for your own customer.
Exactly.
That's it from myself.
That was very interesting. I mean, especially with being able to detect reactions from patients, to measure what they're feeling, and also predict, illnesses. Based on internal factors. It sounds like, again, combining a lot of information from inside the body, outside the body, using different immersive technologies to find that out.
One word, Gassan, what I am caring, for example, from our side, is not from the technical side, from the business perspective. Because the business people who are going to use the AI or trying to bring, that we need to raise up the maturity of the level to believing in the AI. For example, I remember that when generative AI came, I was in a meeting with the medical doctors. So trying to embrace the artificial intelligence, some of the projects that we have, for example, the early detection of the breast cancer, which was being successful in our country by 98%. So they said, no, we don't want to need. I told them today we are bringing this. Tomorrow, no need even to bring any solution, because for generative AI, we are going to take a picture by our phone and just upload it in the system, and it will analyze and give you the full report of that one. Okay. So bringing the knowledge and bringing it up to that level, this is the important from the business people.
Definitely. The potential is limitless. And I'm not sure if our time includes questions, but do we have time to ask the audience?
I have a final quote for participants. Thank you for your attendance today. I advise you, we have highlighted the ethical AI. I advise you to go to Digital Dubai Authority portal. There is a great booklet issued by Digital Dubai called Standard of Ethical AI Usage in Public Sector. It's available on Digital Dubai website. You can take a look.
Amazing, thank you. And so, our host, are we able to have the audience ask questions, or? For sure. Does anybody have a question for our panelists? Please go ahead. Not sure if a microphone is being passed around or if we'll just try it this way.
We can hear it, I think.
Yeah,
yes, please.
Vocalize.
So I'm Mohammad from Economic Data Science. So my question, thanks for the wonderful, insightful presentation. I had a question on the regulations, because everyone is talking about regulations. All the governments are talking about regulations, because generative AI, there are a lot of companies are using it, as Vineesha also mentioned, right? All the companies are using generative AI for their work. And and we all talk that government has to have regulations and laws to protect this, because no, we cannot stop this open AI and the generative AI wave. but now the government, the regulations has to take place to ensure it should start from the public sector and roll down to the private sector. But what are your thoughts on the regulations and how effective it needs to be done for all of us, including
how to demonstrate the rollout, of regulations, when it comes to
because that is very important, because every government is still figuring out what to do about this, because we cannot control this. We had a lot of talks about controlling this, banning it in schools, but we see that it cannot happen. It is already out there. True. Everyone has access to this, but it's so.
Who's your question directed to? Just to.
So it's to anyone who can take it from the panel. Thank you very much.
I can answer this from our own side regarding the regulations for the generative, especially for generative AI, in our country, in the Sultanate, that we realized that the generative AI can produce a thing within a second, which maybe we'll take example. For example, the artist will spend at least 1 month to generate when drawing pictures. But for the generative AI, within a second it will generate. So that the AI generative picture or photos, it's who own this one? The users or the technologies or the artist himself, because you can request from the generative AI to put as the theme of that artist. So we realize that one, and we are in the process to modify, for example, the intellectual properties laws, and also to protect the author rights for that one. But really, are we be able to do that one? Because the technology is rapidly changed from time to time. Even from the academia, when they said when the ChatGPT came up, they said most of the people, they will generate their research from the ChatGPT. But within a few days, another application came that can be detected if it's written by AI or not. So let us leaving for this innovation, for the technology to rely on the technology itself. So that even if we regulate today, tomorrow again another regulations it will need to be updated for that one. Because as we said that, even last time when we said that in the Congress itself, when Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, he was seeking help from the senator to regulate the artificial intelligence. He said that I am not able to regulate if you can help us. So how we can stop that? It is a wave. It's a wave coming. Yeah. I'm saying now it's a crazy revolution, crazy AI revolutions.
Exactly, and the regulation is always going to be catching up to the technology rather than superseding it. I think we're out of time, but we have room for one more question, maybe. Does anybody else have one question? If you can direct it to the person you'd like to ask. I think someone in the back. Hello.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hashim Al-Kabi. I'm from DCT Abu Dhabi. I'd like to thank everyone here, and especially the panel, with the tremendous speech we heard about it. And my question is to all of the panels here, that because I can hear different answers from different sectors from the panels. The new technology, what part of it is the AI. Is it in favor of the human, government, or the private sector? I'm talking about investment. In your opinion. Thank you.
It's an interesting question. I mean, where do you see attention given to? Is it more on the customer experience, to solve internal problems? I mean, who would like to take that first?
If you allow me to.
Please go.
Actually, as a government sector, we serve both. We serve public and business, and our solution should fit both. For business, especially, we have a great model implemented in UAE government and Dubai government, especially called PPP, Public-Private Partnership, where we are providing solutions through our private sector partners. We have a lot of solutions provided to business, emerging technology used to provide to business, like interactive map for Dubai or heat map for businesses in Dubai that provided under the unified channel of business services called Invest in Dubai, IID. We have reduced the time of doing business to more than 90%, from days to hours, using predictive technology and having all government services in one place for the businessman to start his business in an easy step and fully digital services. This is one side. Other side, we have worked in Dubai government in creating customer experiences. Instead of providing standalone services, now we are providing journeys to customers based on their life event. Okay? This is done based on integration between all government entities and our private sector partners. Hopefully this addresses your question.
Yeah, sounds like it's a combined answer that benefits all parties, involved.
Yes.
Would anyone else like to jump in on that one?
Yeah, I would like to add something. Actually, it can be a win-win strategy for all. It can be, if it is studied well by the business user and implemented in a right way, which adds value to the patient, then it's a win-win strategy for all. For the private sector or for the vendor, for the organization itself, and for the patient. So this is my input.
Exactly. More about doing it properly than picking or
Yes,
choosing
yes,
one to benefit one entity or the other. Great. Thank you so much. I think we've gone a bit over the time, but thank you everyone for your attention and our esteemed panelists for your insights. It was,
Thank you.